Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. I am AdamMcKola. Hope you guys are all doing well. I'm still feeling wounded, you know. Man United, first week back, game week 1. Premier League's back, everyone's buzzing. And what do? Go and lose our first game at home against Brighton. It was a poor performance by Manchester United from back to front. No one really stood out and had a good game for the Reds, and it was a disappointing time, wasn't it, to see Manchester United perform like that when we want to have confidence under the new manager. And I've spoken about previously, and I've spoken about in my review before, during this pre-season, that Manchester United need to back the manager with players. The manager in his press conference the other day, he says how he doesn't just want any players, he wants the right players. If not, he'd keep the same squad. Although I'm not sure how much he'll be thinking that this morning. But he's saying he wants the right players. And what do we hear today? Manchester United are making moves for Marko Arnautovic and Adrien Rabiot. It just goes from bad to worse for Manchester United fans, doesn't it? We'll get stuck into that. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe button, you're liking, you're commenting your thoughts in the comments below as well, and sharing this video with all your friends. And let's talk like Adrien Rabiot, Marko Arnautovic. Now, Rabiot, if he was signed, let's say we signed Christian Eriksen, Frankie de Jong and Rabiot. We signed those 3 players, and you know, we've lost Matic, we've lost Pogba, and Scott McTominay got sold. You'd go, you know what? We've rebuilt the midfield. We've got 3 new players in. There's a lot more depth, quality. You'd be happy with that. But when at the back end of the window, Manchester United are scurrying around, nothing's happening with Frankie de Jong, and now all of a sudden we're going for Adrien. There's just no plan. There's no idea. There's no thought. Now, he'd be better than what we have, but that's not what we need to be doing, just buying players because they're better than what we have. And most players are better than what we have in those positions. It just stinks at not having a plan. And you've got to feel for Erik ten Hag at this moment in time. He's come into a club where there's no scouting structure, there's no, you know, director of football as such, or anyone with experience in those positions to be making the footballing decisions. You know, he's come from an institution like Ajax, where the recruitment would have been spot on. And of course, the manager is having his say in who he wants now, because he has to tell the board who he wants. At Liverpool, when Klopp went in, and I hate to refer to them, but when Klopp went in, I think he wanted Goetze or someone like that. And the board and the recruitment went, actually, we've got Mo Salah lined up for you, and we believe he'll be better for what you want as a player. And look what happened there. And look, of course you want your manager to have the say on certain things sometimes. But we're just relying on him for all these suggestions, and then the ones we're plucking out are Arnautovic and Adrien Rabiot. Short-term stopgaps that probably aren't good enough for Manchester United. It stinks, and the recruitment at the club has been so poor, and we need to improve everything around Ten Hag if we want to succeed. For as good as Ten Hag can be, he's going to be fighting a losing battle if we've got the same mistakes repeating themselves. And we see one of the Glazers in the board yesterday, and Murto and Arnold, etc. And we hear they have meetings and all that. But what's come of them? Nothing. And the manager seriously needs help. We've had this same midfield, McTominay and Fred, for how long? It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And of course, the managers in their press conferences and stuff are going to say, yeah, you know, the decent players, they have to keep them on side because they haven't got an alternative. If they start calling them crap, they're going to be even worse for them. So I think we've got clear issues that needed addressed before the window started, that needed addressed before Erik ten Hag came here. And what have we done? Nothing. We hear about a new era, a new direction, new people making decisions. And it's the same old, same old. And now we're looking to bring in a 33-year-old Arnautovic. Look, on his day, Arnautovic can be a handful, but he's been playing in China, ain't he? Stinks of the Igalo deal. And Rabiot, I wouldn't mind him, but that's what happens when you're starved and someone offers you a cracker. But there's so many other... How many players have we gone through to get today, you know what I mean? And why isn't the recruitment on point? I just don't get it. So Manchester United have to fix up. We have to fix up in and around the manager. We have to fix up, you know, in terms of the recruitment. In terms of getting rid of players. There's so many players that aren't Manchester United quality that are still here at this club till this day. Why? So there's so much that needs to improve at United. But when you're hearing these stories, you're just thinking the pre-season positivity that's supposed to be there in early August just isn't there. It just isn't there. And I rarely agree with Gary Neville, but I think he made a point that even if United signed Frankie de Jong, which look, I'm kind of ruling out at this stage if we're going after Adrien, Rabiot and all that. But even if we sign Frankie de Jong, it's not been a good enough window. We're still lacking in the front three. We're still lacking probably in midfield. We still need 2 midfielders, including Frankie de Jong. And we're still lacking at fullback position. So Manchester United need a number of players to come in before we can do anything. It's as simple as that. And we haven't had them come in. We just haven't. So here we go again. Same old with Manchester United's board. Despite the rejig and the change and the appearance of change. It's Glazonomics in full effect. And that's what happens when you have these bunch of stooges running the club that haven't really got a clue what they're doing. Don't really care about football. Don't really, not this football anyway, don't really care about whether Manchester United are successful on the pitch as long as they can take their dividends out left, right and centre. And that's why you continue to see protests against the owners. Because United fans haven't been happy with this run since they arrived. In 2005, even when we were good, there were protests against them. So I expect those protests to continue. And fair play, because the Glazers are a huge problem. And Gary Neville, again, I've referred to Gary Neville, he said that it's time for them to sell. The time is now. We ain't getting rid of them. Unfortunately, it's still milking the cash cow. And at some point, that will hit a brick wall. But you feel like that's a far way around the corner, especially when they're looking at things like the Super League and stuff. And who's going to buy them? Well, actually, you know, Chelsea being up for sale and seeing how much owners, potential owners they attracted. Great stuff, but then what kind of owner are you going to get? Do you know what I mean? It's not great times for Manchester United. I'm hoping we can have a good week in training. We come out, we make a few changes, maybe bring Jimmy Garner in, maybe start a Garnacho, maybe Martial's fit again. But we need to hope for miracles at this moment, because the players just aren't there, and in key areas. If you look at that midfield area, you know, when you look at the teams around us, what players they have in those positions, and then you look at ours, it's not good enough. And then you see rumours like this. Oh, it's going to be a long season. Anyway, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you're liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. Keep it locked to the channel. And until next time, I've been AdamMcKola. I'm out of here.